I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I think it would be right and proper for me to just say that our former judge, Charles Quaintance, passed away a few weeks ago. He was buried in Connecticut, wherever his son is living. Charlie was a judge for maybe 20 years here, in that neighborhood of 20 years. So God bless him. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? The agenda's in the back of the room. If anybody wants to talk about items that are on the agenda, I'll hear it. And if there was no public comment for agenda items, we'll move on to approval of the last meeting's minutes, which was July the 22nd. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Some communications. Please be advised that the New York State DOT construction project, blah, 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 Ansville Circle flood mitigation is within your town's limits. I don't know where they're getting that from, but I know we have a lot of people from the town that use the goat trail. So tentatively this week, weather permitting, contractor will be proceeding with the eastbound lane closures, which will occur between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Two-way alternating traffic will be maintained on a single lane by flagging. We will keep you posted about progress on the job.
Anything about Storm King? By any
No,
chance?
no, I haven't gotten anything from them, no. Okay. Financial reports. I transferred $312,817 from the consolidated account to the paying account. Some of the larger items were Sun Up Construction. They're the ones that are doing the water tank, $143,198. Frank Stevens and Sons Roofing for the highway garage roof, $83,202. Rockland County Solid Waste for tipping fees, $29,753. L&L Property Maintenance for the cemetery property maintenance, $5,200. And Global Montel for sanitation fuel, $5,083. Any questions from the board on those? Okay, Kelly, you have, I don't think I have your list. I don't know what I did with it. I know I printed it, but we have a number of budget transfers, which I will read off. I'll read them all off, and we can question and approve after I'm done. From the contingent account for town board training, $1,141. That's training for a newly elected official. From the comptroller's contractual for audit expense, $345. The audit fee was higher than we budgeted. Contingent account, officials liability insurance, $1,504. Insurance expense higher than budgeted. from the contingent account, general liability insurance, $11,282, insurance expense higher than budgeted. Zoning training, for zoning other expenses, $100, fees for legal notices higher than budget. From ambulance equipment to ambulance contractual, $8,200 over budget due to town of New Windsor covering while the both ambulances were repaired. Ambulance equipment to ambulance vehicle maintenance, $8,000 over budget due to major repairs. Sewer supplies to sewer fees, $200. DEC fee was higher than budgeted. Water charges, Water District 1 equipment, $3,410. Work was done by TAM for a broken pipe at Corbin Hill. Town clerk other expenses to town clerk training, $400. Actual expenses were higher than budgeted. Any questions? That's why Kelly's here. Any questions? All right, then I'll ask for a motion to approve the budget transfers as read.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Well, we'll start from the other side.
Don't see how that works? That was my plan.
Oh, okay. Board liaison reports.
Starting on this side?
Yeah, start with you.
Really just one that since our last meeting, and that is calls for the ambulance corps during July. They were dispatched to 64. They were able to answer 63 of those calls. And the only one that was missed, it was the third call. There were our two ambulances were out already. It was a call for mutual aid in Woodbury. They were not able to do that. Otherwise, all the local calls were able to be answered in July. So that is good news. And that is everything that I have, sir.
That's everything?
As far as you know, unless something comes up.
All right. Councilman DeWitt, are you all right, or, I mean, you want to go to the other side? Seriously?
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, good evening, everybody. Good to be back. Sorry I missed everybody in July. I was blessed with some really good freelance work out in Idaho, which it's never say no to a paycheck, but it's good to be back. Some of the good news right now is we started our big windows project, which, as anything environmental around here, starts out with a thank you to Olga Anderson, who started out as with many of the grants that we are looking at now. A lot of times they begin with her, and we received a small grant which we were able to put towards modernizing our envelope here at Town Hall. The project's not going to be done for another month. We had a little bit of an ordering glitch with a couple of windows, but that aside, the goal is to make the work environment better for everybody, and obviously to make this place more energy efficient, which saves us all money, and it's a step forward for the 21st century for our 124-year-old building. So we're off to a good start there. I only bring it up because I want to say, for a lot of people here tonight that were at the village board meeting on Monday, and it was interesting as usual. All I want to say is the few people that show up here, which is small by comparison to the village meetings, but I hope you have our trust. You always have our ear. I think I could say that safely across the board. I don't even think it needs to be said. And the decorum. I know people come here, and we all know we're not perfect. We have good and bad issues, but people bring them. The mic's open. We talk. We hear you. And we hope everybody just trusts that we do a step forward here. And just again, thank you for the people that show up and listen at home. Regarding other things about Monday night, I just want to say, I won't get too specific, but I want to just remind people that we are blessed in this community with the people that serve, and especially the youth. We have a lot of exceptional youth in this community. Many of you contribute, volunteer.
a lot of good kids. And as adults and elected officials in this town, I think it's up to us as an adult, as the adults of the community, to help praise, support, and mentor our youth when we can, and stand behind them. I just heard some words Monday night that I just thought I needed to say that out loud here because, you know, our kids are our value and our future. And let's keep in mind that, you know, things right or wrong, make sure we support them. And I want to say thank you. We're really lucky around here. And then on the topic of progress, as people know, there's a few projects that have been on hold for a while here in the village. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it. I just want to remind people that this Friday, August 16th, I'm going to just read it. There is a public presentation with the Village of Highland Falls Board, Town of Highlands Board, Planning Board, Zoning Board, the Thayer Group, the Association of Grad Representatives, and a few others are going to be having a meeting. It's being held this Friday at the intermediate school. I encourage, if you're around and you have Friday evening off, I bump into people that I know, old friends who don't know, a lot of people don't know exactly what AOG is trying to do or what the facts are, and blaming different things. I encourage people to go and get your facts, learn about the facts, not get your facts straight, that sounds a little harsh, but go and learn what's going on. I like to say we have this gold nugget in this community, and if actions aren't solidified soon, that gold nugget's just going to get tossed in the Hudson River. We're looking at some of the greatest opportunity this community has seen in decades. And it's time to make decisions from our neighbors on the village board and get these groups, get these facts, go into triple time we have to. It's time to get these done, and let's try to get progress going. I'm sure if I'm missing something with some of the projects I see on the table, I don't see anything bad about it. I agree we got to watch our infrastructure. I would always defer to Richie Sullivan, who knows engineering inside out around here. But we have a lot of opportunity. Friday night, definitely go if you can. I think you'll learn a lot, and there's a lot of good people that want to bring things to this community. The last thing I have. Also, and the other thing regarding that $4.5 million grant, the New York Forward Local Planning Committee meeting number 3 is on August 21st at 5 p.m. at the Senior Center. That's another thing. If you want to have a say or speak or hear what's going on how that grant money, that really large sum of money, is going to be applied and used in our village, you might want to go and attend that meeting as well. And again, the one about the development, that starts at 5 o'clock, doors open this Friday at the intermediate school. On the last note that I have is, again, I love thanking people, and this time again to Jean Tallman and Lisa Bora, who spent a lot of time. We finally got Channel 23. I'm sure while I was gone, you probably mentioned it. Spectrum finally came through with a crew of people and troubleshooted the whole system. And it wasn't our equipment, it was up on Mountain Avenue, what do you call it, the green box.
The green box. Yeah.
And if Bob has mentioned it in the past, but it's all fixed. We got a new graphics computer to generate the information on Channel 23. The girls have worked really hard at putting information, learning the software, and helping us get back online. I know it was offline for a while, but it's working rock solid. I think even the music is coming through pretty crystal clear for those that get Channel 23. And again, you could always submit your messages for the community to Town Hall to put on Channel 23. But again, thanks to Gina and Lisa, who really, they went above and beyond and put some extra sweat, I know, on a Saturday as well, to get that thing up and running and again, back online. And that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman King?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Just a few notes. I'll start with saying that we want to wish congratulations on the culmination of a 30-year U.S. Army career to Command Sergeant Major, U.S. Army Garrison Command Sergeant Major Frazier. who had a retirement ceremony at Eisenhower Hall at West Point on Friday. Councilman DeWitt and myself were able to attend, represent our community. It was well attended, well executed, and I'm just going to say that she's been a partner to the town of Highlands, been very present in our various celebrations, and always been an ear if we needed to call upon her for some reason. So we wish her farewell and Godspeed, and we thank her for her service. I also want to say to our community here, the folks on the Emergency Management Committee, they just throughout the summer, and we still cognizant of the fact that we're not all the way over the hump, but the fact is we've had heat wave, we've had tornado watch, and thank God we've had these volunteers in the community vigilant and prepared as best as possible for anything that we would have to experience. And we're just blessed that there was nothing of significance to report in that regard other than we were ready. And so thank you to all the members of the Disaster Preparedness Committee, all the agencies, all the volunteers. Thank you all. And then I want to also give thanks to the village board. You heard me talk about a couple weeks ago that I had an initiative that I was working on at the time. I was just thinking about it, and that was a back-to-school block party. And the idea was to put it on Muller Avenue in front of the St. John's Church for a variety of reasons, for the kids that live in that community, for everybody that can get there via however they want to get there, whether it's walk down the street or whatever, but also to help revitalize that particular part of the neighborhood, which I'm very familiar with as a child, having grown up here. So at the time, it was just a thought. And then we talked to some folks and it started to pick up a little steam, but then we had to put in an application. We had to put in an application to block off the road from Miss Claiborne's house, approximately over by former Mayor Pat Flynn's house. And then that application has now gone through the process and been approved by the village on last Monday. And so we want to thank the village board for their due diligence and expeditiously getting that thing approved. We're moving full steam ahead on this project. And the idea is one day, last day of the month, go out there, give out some free hamburgers, free hot dogs to the youth, and then provide some supplies for school and wish them the best as they go into this next school year. And it's a community event. We want everybody to come out. And so thanks to the mayor and the village board and all the other folks, but also the folks that are now all in. We got DJ Redbottom, the person who I'm told used to play basketball at James I. O'Neill High School when she was a kid growing up here. Now I should know this because she's my niece's mother. I should probably know a little bit more about her. But I know that she's very popular when it comes to DJing. So I think the kids are going to enjoy her. And then we got 100 backpacks donated already. Yeah, with supplies. That's good. And so it's a coalition, I would call it, a community coalition that's coming together for this thing. Some of the folks I just want to announce is the NAACP Newburgh Highland Falls chapter, which I didn't really know that it started right here in Highland Falls, so I probably should say Highland Falls Newburgh first, but we're not going to argue about that. And then Buffalo Soldiers Association of West Point, founded by our beloved Sergeant Sanders Matthews, the late Sergeant Matthews. That organization is now 63 years old. They're going to help out. And we got the St. John's A.M.E. Zion Church is going to pull together and help out. And then we got the Hudson Valley Women's Association, led by, I believe, Ms. Ann Molina, who's recovering, by the way, from surgery not too long ago. And we thank her. And then we got the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club, who has their meetings right at the American Legion. They're going to give a whole bunch of stuff that they're planning for us. And we got none other than In Sport Tax and Services, LLC. And then the very own S4L Entertainment and Sports Management. What we're going to do is give out 2 scholarships to high school kids that are going off to college this year. So that's going to be a little bit of a surprise. Unless they're watching TV right now, then it won't be a surprise. So that's all I got. I just want to thank everybody that's getting involved. And it's really, really, really picking up steam, so I hope to see you all out there on the 31st of August, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., Muller Avenue, and it's just about having fun. Thank you for your attention.
Councilman Sullivan?
Thank you, Bob. All right, so mine's not painfully long. On water, for the last few weeks, the water gang has been chasing a leak down on Tonneson Drive, or Tonneson Road, whatever it's called, leading to Jeffrey Proban's house. There's an area on the edge of the road down there where there's water running out all the time. They tested it and it had both chlorine and fluorine in it. So we had a local plumber who does some sounding, and I think we had, I really have a tough time saying the word rural Water Society. I really can't say that word, so we'll just prefer the more. They came down, and I believe last Thursday or Friday, they discovered a leak, and a year ago, we were using 75,000 gallons a day. Right now, we're using about 108,000 gallons a day. So the leak, surprisingly, they haven't pinpointed it yet to my knowledge, is over by St. Mark's Church on the other side of the highway. So it's going across the highway, not down into the valley, through Mine Dock Road, and going down into the Scenic Hudson property behind the trading post over there. So they chased that, and hopefully they will have it repaired in the not too distant future. I want to say something I probably shouldn't say. I've done water all my life, and I know the settlement master told us that we had to use plastic. It's not the best choice, but that's what we have. We've had a lot of problems with it. And down to the sewer plant. So, okay, sewer. The firm is signed by Lankin Tully. I know it's on the agenda for later on. Titan Bond is their name. I sent them data for the flows for the last 3 years, and it's all very preliminary. I know we're going to discuss that later on tonight. I have had discussions with their contact person. Her name is Lori. This might have to go into executive because we have discussed the numbers that she has presented here on television that has been mentioned in the past, and it's a very intimate document, and that document would be something you could almost use to come up with an RFP for another one. So that one I'd like to discuss in executive, not trying to hide anything from anybody, but somebody submitted something intimate that has already been made partially public, so I'd like to discuss that in executive. The average flow for the month of July was 67,000 gallons per day average. That's way down. It was only 2.2 inches of rain. Don't get too caught off guard. There was one day where it hadn't rained for 5 days, where we had 114,000 gallons. How that happens, I don't really know, but we know that our average, that we're at 80 to 85% annually down at that plant. July and August are typically low-use months. Highway, Wyatt Road is now paved. The DPW did a nice job up there. Last week I spent some time with Tiffany and with the foreman Rick Jersey discussing a good many things. Greg was away, but among those discussions was whether or not we're going to contract out down at Bernie Cassidy's house. It's time to make a decision down there, and I expressed a little bit of a sense of urgency toward that matter. I know there's another subject we're going to talk about tonight. It's a highway project at a cemetery. I see that's on the agenda. The cemeteries, I believe, have had 8 or possibly 9 cuts so far. They look great. It's saving a great deal of burden on the labor and equipment of the highway department. That's something I believed in for a number of years, and I'll continue to believe in it as we go into budget season. It's working out rather handsomely. Next meeting, I'll have an update on the sanitation numbers. I will say that The facility in Rockland County, about a month and a half ago, a loader went through the side of the building. They couldn't use it for a week. And about a week and a half ago, it caught on fire. So our trucks had to go out to Goshen or New Hampton rather than down. That's a much farther trip. I wish them well down there with whatever kind of gremlins they got running around that place.
Are they still closed, Rich?
Pardon me?
Are they still closed?
No, it's open now.
Oh, it's open.
now. It's open now. I've never been there.
Havistraw?
Never been to the facility. Listen, I know I talk a lot. Back in the 80s, when I worked with Rocco Galoo, we had the transfer station. The truck only had to drive to the transfer station. It was over with. A truck that only has, like, you know, sometimes 5 tons on it, to drive that far is an enormous cost, but that's a world we live in. The New Hampton landfill got closed, and after that, it went 105 miles to be delivered. So I'm not so sure we're moving forward on savings there. But with the building department, I'd like to again thank Philip Hannawalt. He keeps me aware of everything and matters that are going on. And Joe mentioned last village board meeting. I have nothing bad to say about the village of Highland Falls. That's not my point. But at that meeting, Alina and a few other people made clear things that they thought were not being addressed in the community, okay? And I know the mayor communicates with Phil. He communicated with him the next day after that. He had an answer for each and everything. For example, parking on Mountain Avenue, which is a state road with state curbs. So all those things are being addressed. Sometimes you have to write the advisory and a violation, et cetera, and so on. The village hasn't been meeting the second time in a month, so these things pile up. And at their last meeting, they had 10 of them. 2 of them resolved before the meeting, and 8 of them were addressed. And what will happen is they'll have to go out to a bid, 3 prices, and someone will come over there and cut it, and a month later, we're probably overgrown again, if that's, you know, but we are addressing it. Whatever the law allows, we are doing it, and Philip is on top of that. The Community Environmental Advisory Committee met by Zoom last Friday. I'd just like to thank Olga for keeping that organization moving forward. We had COVID and all these other things. Tiffany Montalese chimed in. She's a member of that committee. And we discussed a couple things. There's some grants that they're working on, one for $5,000, one for $10,000, one for $50,000. I think Justin's helping them out with one of them. And we discussed food waste composting and the possibility of a fall hike. Ron Malacott's gonna come up with the idea for where we're gonna go to this time. And I'd just like to say the Highland Falls Fire Department had Christmas in July on Main Street. I attended that. It was fantastic. There's events all over the place around here. Block party. Remember I had a discussion about block parties? Just don't have it on September 16th, okay?
I remember.
And finally, I would just like to take a moment to thank my friend Bill Etzel of Vision, because last year at the 9/11 ceremony, the flagpole rope snagged in the middle of everything. We knew it needed to be repaired. The town contributed about half the cost for that repair. Bill went over and lowered it down and did it on his own. If you go there now, you'll see it's flying at half-mast for Mr. Charlie Quaintance. We'll raise it at the appropriate time. That's all I have.
It can be raised any time now.
Okay.
Justin, you had something?
Sure. Richie just mentioned NYSERDA and grants, and so there is a NYSERDA grant that you recently received for $10,000. It's ultimately for a study of the facility, and then additional monies for a project related to energy upgrades in the building. So ultimately, you need to just approve that agreement with NYSERDA just by motion.
Okay. Anyone would like to make a motion to approve the agreement with NYSERDA?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
Wish everything was that easy.
This is about the energy study in the building, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly, do you have anything?
No, just my budget transfers.
And our police chief is on a well-earned vacation. Do you have anything from the police department?
We have our 2 new cars that finally came in. They've recently gotten updated graphics, and we're just waiting on getting the computers in and a few other things, and then they'll be on the road.
Excellent, good. Thank you. Okay, what have I got here now? All right, fence repair at Highland Union Cemetery. I went down and looked at it. Yeah, there's fence that goes along the road with the old-fashioned western poles with
Corral fence.
corral things, good. Yeah, there's some missing, and I don't see what purpose it serves. And in order to fix it, I've got 3 different prices. One price is $3,200, one price is $2,150, and the cheaper price from L&L Property is $1,800. I don't believe the fence needs to be repaired. I think it can stay the way it is or taken down, but throwing $1,800 away for a fence that is basically decorative is the right word I was looking. Unless someone feels differently and would like to make a motion that we approve this price, it won't be me.
So I have a little bit different perspective on it. You heard me mention before, are we gonna do Bernie Cassidy's in-house or not? That's gonna be like more than $50,000, no matter who does it whatsoever. So I know Greg has been away, and Greg stayed here an extra amount of time to pave Wyant Road, so he had the right, and he deserved to go away. I think he helped his sister move. But anyway, I didn't have him to talk to, so I talked to Rick, and I talked to Tiffany and whatnot, and I would like to have a build-out of what's on their mind for the rest of the year. Because I've done construction estimating, I'm pretty good at scheduling, things like that. And I'm not so sure that any of those prices matter, because that's something I think is well within the purview of our highway department to do themselves.
Okay, let me stop you. I talked to Greg this morning about that, and he said the highway department does not have time to do it.
Okay?
But I know the fence was repaired at Brooks's by one person in one day, same type of fence. So if he doesn't have time, I'm sure somewhere along the line, he'll find time.
I'm not gonna hammer that down on him. This could be done in November if you want to, when you're raking leaves. It could be done in December if you want to. I don't know. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, there's no horses waiting to jump over it, and the people that are buried there aren't climbing out, so, and I don't mean that facetiously. So it is ornamental. It's been brought to our attention. We don't wanna be negligent. I drive by it. The pieces that are missing, as long as the pieces that are left don't look, you know, all disoriented, it doesn't look that bad. And that's a corral, split rail, whatever you want to call it. When you buy new pieces, they're a different color until they fade for a year or whatever. So I almost have no opinion. I'd rather just see us do it and forget about anybody's prices when we can. Maybe that'll be February, I don't know, next April.
Why don't we, I went down, obviously, I took all the pictures and submitted them to everybody. I even attached a couple of the poles myself, it wasn't hard. Some of those posts probably just need to be straightened. I don't know, do we have a post digger here in the town highway department? Is that something you can do? Maybe we should just, like you suggested, maybe we just let this ride for another meeting and you know, let me talk with the cemetery committee, see what they would like to suggest, and get a better proposal of thoughts. If it's something we can fix on our own, but like I said, aesthetics, you know, we with the lawn cutting, we got the flag fixed up at the cemetery in 9W, and it's just, we're ahead of the curve on the aesthetics and taking care of our cemetery, so it'd be nice to follow through with the fence. So maybe if we could do it a little bit here, a little bit there with the highway department. Again, I know Greg, they paved Wyatt Road, they're busy.
Yeah, well, my vote would be fix the fence, fix it ourselves.
All right.
So is that the general opinion of the board then, that we'll let Greg know that when you have time, we're going to fix it?
And if it's done within the calendar year, I'll be happy.
Okay. Okay. So I won't need to do a motion or anything like that. We all agree. Okay, talking about Greg, I have a letter from him. As you are aware, the town of Highlands has been without a full-time mechanic and having difficulties filling the position. I would like to hire Ron Torino as a part-time mechanic to start immediately at the approved salary schedule rate of pay, which is $43.93 per hour. That is not in our salary schedule, but we are paying a part-time mechanic at this time to work on diesels at $43.93. Discussion?
So this is like, so he's got a part-time guy already, and then this is gonna be another hire coming in?
Yeah.
So that means they'll have more people, right? So I say, if he can get that fence fixed, we can get another person.
Well, they need a mechanic.
Okay, so I mean, they can't get.
Let's talk a little bit about the mechanic up there. So we've had for a number of years, a gentleman from West Point Tours, Mr. Smallwood. He's very good. You'll see him there after hours and whatnot. What he is not is a private consultant type thing. He's a town employee, employed part-time with no benefits or minimum, maybe the pension, nothing.
Here's their retirement.
And RJ Torino is going to be the same exact thing. Remember, our mechanic was promoted to foreman. We currently have a dog catcher that doesn't have a vehicle, that's using her own vehicle to go fetch dogs. That's what's going on with the backup down there. So we need a mechanic, however.
Yeah, I vote for the mechanic, because we can't have the dog catcher driving their own vehicle. That's not cool.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to hire this part-time mechanic for a maximum of 20 hours per week at the rate of $43.93 per hour. Keeping in mind that this is a part-time position temporarily until a full-time mechanic is hired. And if I might just add, I think we as a board may have slipped up a little bit when we let Rick go to foreman without replacing him at the same time.
Okay.
Yes, there are people who are going to do interviews that are now available that may not have been for the last couple of weeks. So now we can move forward with that. If I can be included in that, I'll take time off to go. I was included to interview when Rick, for the foreman's position, I was there for all of them. So, but I'll make the motion.
She already made it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Nancy made it. You
I did, I jumped the
Did you
gun,
second it?
sorry.
No.
Oh,
I didn't
it
say-
sounded like you seconded.
No.
So we're going to hire him at that schedule for a maximum of 20 hours a week on the temporary hiring.
Yes.
And probation.
And
Probation.
And probation for 1 year,
Okay, I'll
which I
second.
hope we won't need that. I got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, where am I else here now? O&R street lighting options. Orange and Rockland will upgrade our street lights free 2% of our lights. 2% is 3 lights. So, and if we were to ask for them to upgrade more than that, it would be $675 a light. So basically, they're offering us, round figures, $2,100 free. We'll upgrade 3 lights. We've been passing this up over the years, and I don't know why, but we have. We've never really accepted it. I think we had the one program going where we thought we didn't need them.
Well, this was offered at that time.
At the
We were
same
busy
time.
fighting lawsuits, some other things is what happened, so.
So anyway, what I did on my own, I picked out 3 lights in Fort Montgomery. The one light where you turn off of 9W onto firefighters, the one light in front of the parking lot the town parking lot, and the one light on the corner of Canterbury and firefighters. This is kind of like the center of town. It's not going to hurt anybody to have more brightness there. I just thought that was a good place to put them. So, board has any other ideas? Listen.
As long as we consider, like I said, make sure we're not blowing out anybody's living room windows, including your own. And I always question the color temperature. I lean towards the warmer lights. I think they're a little more soothing on the eyes. And the O&R rep agrees. Like you said, they're willing to give us free lights. Let's take it. Let's just make sure we don't.
And I do know a gentleman in the village that complained to O&R that his light was too bright and shining in his house. So within days, or a week maybe, they came and they adjusted the shield on it.
Okay.
Okay, but now, this is the good part. Maybe a few weeks later, that same person complained it's awful dark in his neighborhood. They came and they adjusted that. So if we do blast somebody out with this, I'm sure we can have it adjusted.
Okay.
I'm kind of like shot on this subject because the board thankfully trusted me. Back in 2019, we had the New York Power Authority come here and present something that was going to cost $169,000. We were going to buy the lights. The projected cost was 58 grand. We were offered to buy them for 31,000. Everything was going great. And then came COVID, a shutdown, and a reintroductory price. They engineered, we had that meeting that had like 300 pages. And each and every light we could have had be the wattage or Kelvin that we wanted it to be. These lights are not metered by a meter on it. They are calculated at 5,000 watts for 4,350 hours a year, whatever half a year is, 12 hours a day. So Orange and Rockland puts the highest wattage that they can, and that's how you get billed for that. We were going to change all that. That ended up being met by litigation. Before it ever got off the ground, it was like $8,000. So I was not going to drive the public through all that stuff. I just sort of, we abandoned that whole thing. And I thank the board for trusting me. Orange and Rockland has this program. It sounds harmless. The only thing I would say is I think they're probably going to still use their maximum wattage. You can get them down to 2,700 Kelvin. That's what we were shooting for. They generally put in 5,000.
Well, I know in watts, not Kelvin, but it's 35 or 50 watts, and I suggested 50 watts.
We can tell them what we want.
Okay, good.
I just need somebody to tell me, because
The only thing they did not know the Kelvin rating on these lights. And I was going to shoot for something in that 4,000 because that's, in my opinion, that's the nice balance of cool and warm. But I mean, it's, again, open for discussion. He didn't have a direct answer on what the Kelvin temperature was.
No,
But anything that's like 5,000 or higher, I think is obnoxious.
And their program, everybody knows, if a light burns out, if it's mercury vapor or sodium vapor, they replace it with an LED. That's what.
Yeah.
So they're coming anyway. They've been replacing them. When I first started here, I think we had 3. I think now we're up to like 30 in this system or something like that.
So I'll ask for a motion for us to reply to Orange and Rockland to have 2% of our streetlights upgraded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and
Thank
like
you.
I said, I just need somebody to tell me what to tell them. I'll send you the inventory, you can take a look at it and see what we have.
Okay, since you're pretty up to date on all of this stuff,
Yeah, please, sure.
how about you working with, get him on the phone, you sit there with Kelly, get him on the phone,
Okay,
in order.
be my pleasure.
Okay. Dog kennel update. I know we had some problems here in the village where there was some pit bulls that got into it very nastily, and then a second one, another pit bull got into it. As we mentioned before, just so everyone knows, our dog control officer averages about 12 hours a week. That's what she gets paid for. She gets $15 an hour. That's all she gets paid. She is school trained. She goes to school every year. So it's not as if we've got somebody that's just going through the motions. She knows what she's doing. She does not have a vehicle currently because the brakes are gone on the vehicle. She does not have a dog pound because the storm in July took away the whole dog pound. It just washed it out. And what it didn't wash out, we took out. We have a bid, contract bids out, and they're to be answered by the 14th of August. The only one, I still have one, I think, Joan?
Excuse me?
We only have one bid in so far?
No, we have one bid out so far.
Oh, okay. The company that picked up the bid specs is up in Milton, New York, and they have pre-made dog kennels. So hopefully if they get the contract, or if they ask to be part of it, they'll get one down to us pretty quick. But that's where we stand with the dog control. It's not nice, it's not a great deal, but I don't know what else to do.
We have to have it.
Oh, yeah.
We're required by the,
Right, Ag and Markets.
which organization is it?
Ag and Markets, right?
Well, you know what's funny? Ag and Market says that if you sell dog licenses, you need a dog kennel. So I said, okay, well, we'll stop selling dog licenses, right? You can't do that. You have to, you're a town, you have to sell dog licenses, and you have to have a kennel. All right, so I tried the simplest way out, but it didn't work. Rich, you might want to do some of this, but what I'll do is the wastewater treatment plant evaluation proposal. We have a proposal from a engineering company to, number one, confirm future flows to the sewer plant, to evaluate the trailer park connection, to evaluate the treatment plant expansion, and then technical memo development. I don't even know what that is. So those are the things that they want to do. The price of the engineering would be $66,000. We can get a grant for it, but we can't even put in for the grant until next year. When is it, Kelly? May or something like that?
May to July.
Yeah. So that's where we and the reason for all this, of course, is the fact that we're almost at capacity. I don't want to use the word moratorium on building, but
We're not there yet.
but we're getting close.
Yes.
So this is what we need to do. We need to evaluate which way to go, whether we should expand or whether we should take the trailer park, which is Hudson View, by the way. We have a representative sitting in our audience, but the trailer park is approximately 1/3 of our sewage down there. So if we took them and sent that to the village, we'd have the capacity taken care of. Exactly how we would do that and where the cost would lie and who would be paying for it, all I can say is the sewer district will be paying for it. Rich?
No, that's, and for those that don't know, I apologize for sounding like a broken record. Villages don't have districts. Everybody gets everything and everybody pays for everything. Towns do have districts. So the sewer district was actually started, in theory, by Norm Sheldon. If you read the papers back in the 70s, they were pushing for petitions and whatnot. You can't get any money and you can't build anything until you have a district, okay? So that district, here it is, and built out, it matches this plant that was built for it. It's not meant for anything more. The trailer park along the way, back in 1999, had a certiorari lawsuit, and I believe the settlement for that was at their cost. They paid to tie into our system, but they're not in the district. In the meantime, you have next to you have all these properties, and John Rodway was here recently talking about points. Those people have been paying for 35 years now on the bond. not on the usage, because we're not tied in, but they've been paying for it. So I would expect the expectation of those people is they have the right to tie in, and if you tell them you can't because you don't have enough capacity, I don't think you're gonna win that fight. So either we expand the plant or do something with the trailer park, which is a huge collaborative effort that could take 3 years. You have the village involved, you have us involved, paying for, the sewer district would be paying for this. How much is it gonna cost compared to, can we enhance the plant, and what would that cost? I don't know. That's what this is all about. And it's not low-end engineering, it's high-end engineering to figure that out. You're at water level down there, the Hudson River water level, so you'd have to de-water and all that. I don't know the answers without this study, and it is a professional service, so to get the grant, we need RFPs, I suppose. And that's what I talked to this person that is this company. Her name is Lori something, she's on there. And she's a little bit upset for certain reasons. They did all this work and now they're gonna just be held off till we get a couple more RFPs. We may need to discuss as an executive which direction to go. And I think, you know, the price might be high. I don't know what to do without doing something. That's all I have. I just don't know what else to do, so. At least have something, everybody, that's tangible, they can look at and say, well, that's stupid, let's not do that. Let's at least get through that part. And I think all these firms use municipalities as a cash cow. That's just the way it is.
Okay, so I agree with you, and I don't think we have the time to wait until May of next year to put in for a grant, much less get the grant. So if the board agrees, this is $66,000, this contract, they should answer all of our questions.
Absolutely.
And, I'm sorry, did someone talk?
No, I said absolutely. They should answer all of our questions.
Unlike the water district, which I lose sleep over at nighttime, the sewer district has $1 million in which fund? The reserve, the
Fund balance.
fund balance. So there's money there. And remember, this only affects the people that live and pay in the sewer district, which is like 385 parcels or something like that. It affects nobody else, so
Well, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
To allow the supervisor to sign the contract with, what's the name of the company?
I think it's tie and bond.
Tie and Bond. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Scorberg?
Aye.
Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye, okay. Okay, so I'm going to sign this off, Kelly, and before you go off, you get that in. All right. Justin, did I get everything that you wanted me to get?
Everything I had, sir.
And Richie,
Did everybody get the email I sent out? And we talked about it over the phone. So down at the sewer plant, TAM has had their container down there taking sludge away. The thing doesn't carry much. They have to go down with the backhoe, dump half of it on the ground and pick it up. So I think it was Tiffany that I think may have spearheaded this contract with Denali. And I think it's for $120 a ton. TAM was doing it for like $240 a ton. I know you had a chance to look at the contract. I sent it to everybody. It's a little bit nebulous. They won't take any more sludge if we don't sign the contract.
Justin did get the contract.
Sure. So, no, I got the, so,
You got the
correct.
letter.
I reviewed their letter proposal, and it was perfectly appropriate. It said in it, if you agree, we'll then provide you with a contract, right? So we haven't seen the actual contract, we've seen their proposal. The numbers are just as you stated, and that appears to be fair and reasonable. Ultimately, we'll have to review a contract as well, but if you want to move forward with them, you know, a motion's appropriate.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Well, let's do roll call again.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Scorberg?
Aye.
And Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, town board have anything else? Public comment? Anybody? Anything?
Annie Scott, Fort Montgomery. I just have a question, like, good old Rudy used to come in and give reports on emergency management or preparedness. Who is on the committee, and will they be presenting some reports? Because we've had so much rain and so many people, concerned about the flooding.
Councilman King is the head of the committee.
And then the grant for the windows, what amount did you get for the windows?
5,000.
They started today on those.
Yeah. I think that's it, thanks.
Thank you, Andy.
Annie, you sent in a foil for information. I think you probably got your information tonight, but we will address the foil in writing and then send it off to you. Anyone else? Public comment?
And Annie, just
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Olivia, just a couple of comments. I first would just like to express some gratitude to this board. You all are very professional, and just listening to you communicate about certain subjects and get a good census of the overall opinion and making decisions is really nice to see. So I appreciate that. I also appreciate the follow-up on some of the comments that were made at the village board meeting in regards to the building department and such, some of the things going on in the town and how the properties, how that part of the procedure goes. Was there any particular response regarding the garbage cans left out on the streets regularly?
Philip and I discussed that, and in our code, both the police and the building inspector can enforce that. What the building inspector is not required to do is dog poop. That's not in his purview. That's a police matter. You call the police or, I don't know, whoever. But Philip is not, that's not his enforcement according to the code. So we did have a discussion about it, and he talked about people that he's written up that are repeat offenders. And I said, well, you're our garbage policeman, so just keep up whatever you can to get people to abide by it. I don't have specifics. If you want them, I will. I'm not going to give people's names, but I can give you Mountain Avenue, whatever, there's repeat offenders. And in your travels, if you see it's not being addressed, bring it to my attention. And I said that at the meeting. I do not want to tit for tat with the village of Highland Falls. They're having some growing pains, and that's not all their fault. The village is changing, and it's emotional, and it's passionate, and people are trying to get it right, and it falls apart sometimes, which is a shame, But I said my email and my phone number at that meeting. No one ever contacts me, ever, including the members of the village board, except for a couple of them. If there's a property that you have a concern with, if you email me, I promise you, I'll make it my mission in life to follow up on it. And that I never get those emails. They like to go around me and make it sound like maybe I'm the reason the village of Highland Falls is going right to pieces. And I categorically deny that, okay? So.
I appreciate your support at the meeting as well, and all of your comments. Yes, it's just, I think, a very sad thing to see the village in the state that it's in, and I definitely agree that it appears that they're just trying to pass the buck or, push a lot of blame on the building department, and I know Phil, and I know that he works very hard, and I appreciate all that he's done. So I don't think that he deserves all the heat that he gets, during some of those discussions. But yeah, the garbage cans are a big concern of mine. Personally, it's not an enjoyable.
Told you, I'm making my mission in life. I'm going to follow up on it with them when I talk tomorrow.
Okay, wonderful. And just a thought, I may be out of line, pardon me if I am, but the part-time, you just pulled on for a part-time mechanic. I'm just curious, is that not something that maybe the village mechanic could share duties with? I mean, we have some shared departments. Is that not an option for this one, or I don't know if that's doable?
I don't believe the village has a mechanic. I know
I think they do.
I don't believe that. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the village has a mechanic, and just a suggestion that maybe that's something that could be.
I'll pass that suggestion on. Yeah, I'll pass it on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lena.
Anybody else?
I have shorts under here, so don't. I actually didn't know this was a board meeting. I came here to see if I had a ticket from last year, and I wanted to clarify that, but I just decided to sit in. So I don't know if, my name is Amanda, I'm sorry. So I figured since I was sitting and hearing you guys speak about the village, that I'd bring up a few things that was a concern of mine. So I live on West Street, and I have to come up Mountain Avenue, you know where that wall is, where the rocks came down. I've been here since 2019 of October, and I noticed that has not been fixed yet. So I was just wondering what's going on with that. That's number one.
Okay, let me just stop you there before you get to number 2. We are the town outside of the village.
Oh,
Fort Montgomery,
Two separate.
even though the whole entity is the town of Highlands, the village is its own incorporated government with its own DPW, the town-wide, we are the garbage people.
Yeah.
But they have their own departments and their own voting and their own government. So anything that happens within
This is
the
just for
boundaries of the
garbage you're
village.
talking about?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
There are things that are town and village.
That's correct.
Sanitation is town and village. The court is town and village. The ZBA and the planning board are town and village.
Okay.
Recreation.
Recreation is town and village.
The building department is a combined operation. It's town managed, it enforces the village code in the village and the town code outside the village. That wall, I'll just speak freely a little bit, that wall has been down for a while. The property up there has recently been sold. The previous owner died unexpectedly, and there was gas work being done up there. I think there were 3 or 4 agencies in court with one another for a matter of time. Now that there's a new owner, I think it was on the last village agenda. I don't know just what they acted on. I think you'll see something happen up there soon. So that's my answer to that one.
Okay, all right, well then I guess I'll save the rest, because I don't want to keep going.
Next Monday, the village board meeting.
Village next Monday, what time?
No.
They need to come out of foot and work on that wall. How was that?
Not till September.
They have to come out of foot, it was okay to press the wall.
So something's gonna happen. Good, very good.
Anyone else? Anyone? Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?